Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of geometry. This is 11.4. Spheres. Sweet word. We're going to talk about the volume and surface area of a sphere. It's pretty basic stuff. Two formulas, as you see right here. Volume, which as you note is three-dimensional, right? And surface area. Area, that is two-dimensional. All you need is the radius. Again, don't be quick to just type in 3.14. A lot of times they want the answers in pi. And again, with 4/3, you get to be able to do arithmetic with fractions. So here we go. The volume of a sphere. I think we did these already. I don't know why. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's just a bad dream. Have your formula sheet ready. Volume is equal to 4/3 pi r cubed. So that means all we need to do is plug in the radius, which is 5 millimeters. Well, that equals 4/3 times pi times 125. And because they want the answer in terms of pi, we're done. Because 4 times 125 is 500, and 500 divided by 3 is 166.7 pi millimeters cubed, or 523 millimeters cubed, cubic millimeters. It's a volume, takes up space. Same process over here, except you need to recognize what? That they give you the diameter. So the radius has to be 1/8 of that. So volume equals 4/3 pi r cubed. And once you calculate this puppy out, you get 4/3 pi. 8 times 8 is 64. And 8 times 64 is, I'm not prepared, 512. I should have known that. Terrible. And when you multiply 512 by 4 and divide by 3, 682.7 pi cubic centimeters, or 2,144.7. So pretty easy. Oh, I didn't even see those two down there. Nice. We're going to do those freestyle off the dome. Love it. Volume of the hemisphere. What's a hemisphere? That means half. So whatever answer we get for volume, you want to cut in half. So volume is equal to 1/2 4/3 pi r cubed. There's a reason why you learned order of operations, right? So the 2 cubed becomes 8. 4 times 1 is 4, and 3 times 2 is 6. 8 times 4 is 32, and 32 divided by 6 is 5.3 pi cubic feet. Here in this next problem, so really the first problem, you need to know the formula. The second problem, you need to know that the radius is half the diameter in the formula. The third problem, you need to know that a hemisphere is half of the whole sphere. That's it. The fourth problem, they give you the radius, and they give you the volume, and you have to determine the radius. So how do I do that? Well, the volume has to be equal to 4/3 pi r cubed. Well, now what do? I'm going to divide pi for both sides. Those go away. And then I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of my fraction. Because that cancels that, that cancels that. and 3/4 of 7,776 is, oh, I thought I had this written down. Oh, I do. 5,832 cubic inches. Then what do you have to do? To undo a cube, you do the cube root. And you get 18 inches. So for surface area, that's like if you wanted to paint the outside of the sphere, that surface, we know is 4 pi r squared. Well, that's simple. 4 pi r squared. 4 pi times 49. And 49 times 4, I could do in my head, but I'm being a slacker, is 196 pi inches squared. And then again here, they give you the diameter. So that means that the radius will be half of that. 4 pi squared. Pretty easy. Just plugging in numbers. We've already talked about this dimensionality proportional changing situation. Describe the effect on surface area. If something's being multiplied by a number less than 1, it's getting smaller. Area is a squared situation. Square, square, square. So that means it's going to be affected by the square of the fraction that it's being multiplied by. If the radius of the square is being multiplied by 4, then the radius of the sphere would be, the volume of the sphere would be multiplied by 16. Radius, volume. No! Volume, cubic. 4 times 4 times 4. So this is area. Volume would be cubed, so on and so forth. We've actually already done this page in the solid geometry, what happens. So I'm going to go pretty quickly through this. Surface area, that means squared. So that means this needs to be squared, which means the surface area is multiplied by the square. Volume is cubed. That means the dimensions are multiplied by the cube of that. And 1/2 cubed means that the volume is multiplied by 1/8. Pretty simple. To find the surface area, add the lateral area of the cylinder. That's like if you rolled it in paint and then rolled it in a circle like a bike tire. The area of one base, which is a circle, and the surface area of the hemisphere, which is half the surface area of a sphere. Hopefully you have your formula sheets out, or you've memorized them, or you're a math genius. Anything from the above will work, and you just fill in. It's pretty simple, right? 2 pi, what's the radius? 9, what's the height? 12. Now for the base, pi, what's the radius? Still 9. And for the surface area, the radius is still 9. So now we have to calculate what all these are. So the lateral area, 2 times 12 is 24. And 24 times 9 is 216 pi. I'm going to leave it as pi. And these are all square centimeters. The area of the circle is 81 pi. And the surface area of half the sphere would be what? Well, I know half of 4 is 2 pi times 81. So that has to be what? 162 pi. And when we add 216 plus 162 plus 81, we get 459 square centimeters. So the trick there is remembering the half. I'm going to come back and do the other problem.